Have you ever paid a tax you never agreed to? One that never went through Congress, never appeared on your paycheck, and yet still managed to take money straight out of your pocket? It's happening right now, and it's called inflation. Most people think taxes are just the obvious ones: income tax, sales tax, property tax, the kind you see on a receipt or in a line on your pay stub. But there's another tax, one most people never see coming. A silent deduction that doesn't ask for permission, doesn't need your signature, and works every single day of your life, whether you notice it or not. It's the hidden tax. It's not measured in percentage points on a form. It's measured in the shrinking power of every dollar you hold. Here's how it works. When a government spends more than it collects in taxes, it has two choices: borrow money or print more. Borrowing sounds responsible until you realize it's borrowing in your name, and you, not they, will be the one to pay it back, directly or indirectly. Printing sounds extreme, but in today's world, printing is often just a few keystrokes. No smoke, no paper, no ink, just numbers typed into existence by central banks and treasury departments. New money is created and pumped into the economy. But here's the problem. Every new dollar that enters circulation dilutes the value of the dollars you already have. It's like adding water to a glass of juice. The more water you add, the weaker the flavor becomes. Except here, the flavor is the value of your work, your savings, your future. And here's something most people miss, that new money doesn't hit everyone equally. The people closest to the creation of that money, big banks, large corporations, government contractors, they get to spend it while prices are still low. By the time it filters down to you, prices have already risen. This is called the Cantillon effect, a built-in advantage for the powerful and a hidden disadvantage for everyone else. So inflation isn't just a tax, it's a tax that hits the average person first and hardest. This is the inflation tax, a tax you never voted for, but you pay every single day through higher prices and weaker purchasing power. You've seen it: groceries, rent, gas. That cup of coffee you used to buy for $2 now costs $4. And it's not because the coffee got better, it's because your money got worse. Think about your grandparents. 50 years ago, the average American home cost less than $30,000. Today, the median price is over $400,000. The houses didn't suddenly gain magical new features. The dollar just buys less. And here's the real sting. Those same grandparents probably earned less in absolute dollars, but they could afford more of life's essentials. This is what decades of just a few percent inflation look like. And here's the kicker. Inflation is politically convenient. Why? Because it's invisible to most people. You don't get an inflation bill in the mail. No one deducts it from your paycheck. Instead, it hides in rising prices and shrinking savings. It takes from you quietly without a receipt and without an honest conversation. It's taxation without legislation, and it works. The result? Governments get to spend far beyond their means without facing the political cost of raising taxes directly. And you foot the bill in silence. But inflation does more than just take your money. It changes your behavior. When people see prices rising, they spend faster. They save less. Why hold on to cash if it's going to buy you less next year? This creates a vicious cycle. More spending, more demand, more justification for printing money, and more inflation. Over time, this erodes the very culture of saving. Your parents or grandparents may have believed in putting money away for decades, but in an inflationary system, saving feels like losing. We've seen this cycle play out in history. After World War II, the Bretton Woods system pegged the US dollar to gold. It was meant to create stability. But by the late 1960s, the US had printed far more dollars than it could back with gold. And in 1971, President Nixon ended the dollar's convertibility into gold, slamming the gold window shut. From that moment, the dollar became a pure fiat currency, backed only by trust and the government's promise. Within a decade, inflation hit double digits, gas lines formed, mortgage rates soared, the purchasing power of the dollar began its long, steady decline. In the 1920s, the German mark collapsed so quickly that workers were paid twice a day, just so they could rush to the store before prices doubled again. In Zimbabwe, trillion-dollar notes became worthless in weeks. In Venezuela, prices in some years have risen by thousands of percent, wiping out life savings almost overnight. And even in places that never reached full-blown hyperinflation, the damage is still there, quieter, slower, but no less real. You might think, well, that can't happen here. But even in the United States, the dollar has lost over 90% of its purchasing power since 1913, the year the Federal Reserve was created. That means the $100 your great-grandparents saved for you back then would barely buy you a nice dinner today. And this is the so-called stable currency of the world. So how do you protect yourself? First, you have to see inflation for what it is, a hidden tax. Once you see it, you can plan around it by holding assets that can't be easily inflated away. Historically, that's been gold, land, and in recent years, Bitcoin. Why Bitcoin? Because its supply is capped. 21 million coins, no more, no less. Unlike dollars, no central authority can decide to create more Bitcoin on a whim. That scarcity, if you believe in it, is the antidote to the endless dilution of fiat currency. And here's where philosophy meets finance. Money is just stored life energy. Every dollar, every Satoshi represents hours of your work, days of your life, moments you will never get back. Inflation steals that energy quietly, year after year. And when the rules of the game are designed to make you lose, you don't just play harder. You find a different game. Bitcoin isn't just about price charts. It's about opting out of a system built to devalue your effort. It's about reclaiming sovereignty over your time and refusing to let someone else decide how much your life is worth. Because here's the truth. The most valuable thing you'll ever own is not your house, not your car, not even your bank account. It's your time. And inflation is a slow thief that steals at one moment, one purchase, one paycheck at a time. So ask yourself, how much more of your future are you willing to let them take without ever passing a law? If you found this eye-opening, check out my full breakdown in The Hidden Tax You Never Agreed to. The link's in the description and pinned comment. Protect your time, protect your money, and never forget, the game is rigged for the impatient.